All right, there is so much to unpack with 275 of My Hero Academia. Wow, a lot happened. It's crazy how much Horikoshi fit in 22 damn pages, but wow, let's talk about it. So right off the bat, for those that missed it, like the subtle clue last chapter, with Ragdoll in there talking about her surge quirk, it is indeed Shigaraki using his surge quirk, her surge quirk rather. But another thing he points out about it is that it's not just revealing the location of somebody, it's also revealing their like weaknesses, which was an interesting thing to bring up, because you know, I don't think they would bring that up unless it's going to be relevant, and I'll talk about this more later. For now, but I just wanted to bring that up for now. And then it cuts to Deku again talking to Endeavor. And Endeavor's like, yo, why the hell you think he's following you? And Deku's like, yo, I don't got time to talk, bro. Just tell me you can change courses, all right? And Endeavor's like, yo, what the hell you talking about, bro? And then it was super cool because all of a sudden Shigaraki lands, and Endeavor tries to blast him with fire, but then Shigaraki just jumps out of that shit. Like, once again, like I brought this up like in the last episode I made for the last chapter, but Shigaraki's power is crazy. Like, he's not even paying attention to Endeavor anymore. Like, how do you just not pay attention to the #1 hero chasing you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's so strong that he just brushes off the #1 hero like he's nothing. Doesn't even gotta pay attention to him. Like, he's an ant. Like, yo, I'm a god, bro. Get out of my path. Like, that's crazy, my god. But yeah, so Shigaraki changes directions, and then Endeavor was like, oh shit, could he actually be after Midoriya? So then he sends out like the message over the comms. He's like, yo, Shigaraki changed the directions. He's headed southwest. So yeah, then that happens, and then it cuts back to Deku and Bakugo, and then we actually got some good interaction between those two. We haven't really had anything lighthearted in a while, so they had a little lighthearted banter between them two, and we also got to see some character progression in terms of Bakugo. Like, we got to see what Bakugo's thinking, like how he feels about Deku, how he is not going to let Deku surpass him, because we also find out now that Deku can constantly use full cowling at 30%, which is actually crazy. That's like a third, just shy of a third of his full potential with pure strength, with the pure strength aspect of One For All. So that's crazy. And then it's also crazy that Bakugo's keeping up with that. Like 30%, like that's roughly a third of Deku's max speed potential, and Bakugo's keeping up with that. Like, that's crazy. Bakugo's a freaking prodigy, bro. He's crazy if he's keeping up with Deku at 30%. Like, that's nothing to laugh at. Like, shit, 30% ain't no joke. So yeah, that's crazy. And then we also got to see more about how Bakugo is still upset over the fact that he was essentially the one that put All Might in the position to lose his quirk, even though he would have lost it eventually, but it progressed due to his battle with All For One, which wouldn't have happened if Bakugo didn't get captured. So you still see he's kind of mad about it. He's not really beating himself up about it, but he's still mad about it. And now he has like this burning passion to get even with Shigaraki, because Shigaraki captured him, made him like a fool. So he really wants to get back at him. He made this scary face. He's like, yo, I'm about to kill this bro. Yeah, it's like, I'd like to see you try. I'll go up against Shigaraki. And then it cuts back to Shigaraki, and he was talking about how he's annoyed that all the heroes are talking over the intercoms, and you see him like talking about how he's going to use like 2 different quirks that he got from All For One. It was like air compression or like static, something like that. And then he uses it, and 2 things happen, right? Essentially, he scrambles the comms so they're not usable anymore, and 2, the air compression thing, it's almost like he freaking teleported. Like, all of a sudden he was pretty far away from Deku and Bakugo, getting chased by Endeavor, And then in the next millisecond, he was right in front of Bakugo and Deku. Like, that's fucking crazy. How much power does this guy have? He essentially fucking teleported. And don't even get me started on how much backdraft there must have been. So Endeavor probably won't join this fight for a while because he probably got knocked the fuck back from that huge air blast. If it allowed Shigaraki to like go that fast, that little time, like he appeared in front of them in like two milliseconds. Like, it's freaking crazy. So Deku and Bakugo came face to face with Shigaraki, and there was this like super freaking cool like page spread, double page spread, some shit like that. And it was basically Shigaraki saying like, yo, give me all for one, Izuku. And it showed Deku and Bakugo basically like having like a vision of their death, like a premonition of their death due to like the fear, due to like the raw power of Shigaraki. Like it was like a panel of them getting disintegrated by Shigaraki's quirk. They would have fucking died. They would have fucking died. But Gran Torino came in and rescued them at the last moment, which is lucky for them. Gran Torino got moves. I didn't think Gran Torino was that fast, but he just hopped in there and hopped right out, which is crazy. Like, Shigaraki was about to kill them both. He was about to kill them. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, if Shigaraki... Okay, here's a thing, right? Can All for One forcefully take One for All? Because One for All's aspect is that it can be transferred, but it has to be done so willingly by the user. However, on the flip side, All for One just lets you take whatever fucking quirk you want. So I wonder if you can just steal One for All, or if One for All still has to be given up freely. That's interesting, because Bakugo definitely would have fucking died. And I was about to say that Deku would have died too, but Shigaraki wants to take One for All, and he can't really take it if he kills Deku, right? So that either means that he would have either taken Deku and tried to make him voluntarily give it to him, like probably mindfuck him or some shit, or One for All can forcibly take... No. Or All for One can forcibly take One for All, which if that's true, that's crazy. It's not confirmed, but I was just thinking about that. Like, what if All for One can actually take like One for All by force instead of voluntarily? Like, so that's something to think about. Anyway, Gran Torino jumped in there and saved them too, and they were like resisting. Deku was like, yo, what are you doing? But Gran Torino was like, yo, the heroes aren't out for the count yet. Like, don't write us off the list yet. And then the chapter ends with a bunch of pro heroes ganging up on Shigaraki, specifically that one dragon lady. I don't remember her name, but and also Aizawa, Ireza Hedo. He freaking was erasing Shigaraki's quirks. So that meant that the dragon lady, is it like Ryuku, something like that, so she could attack him freely without worry of dying. Because Gran Torino brought up a good point too. He was like, yo, you're not up to snuff with Shigaraki. Like, you thought you were gonna take on that thing, bro? He's not even a man, he's a thing. Like, Gran Torino set him straight. He was like, Shigaraki doesn't even need to touch you to decay you. Like, even if it's just a little tiny pebble that is decaying due to his quirk, if that hits you, you're dead. You're just dead. A little tiny pebble, you're dead. It's over. So yeah, like, in addition to the raw physical power, in addition to like all these multiple quirks that Shigaraki has, in addition to the insane healing properties, like, you gotta think like his decay is probably the most OP thing out of it all. Like, I was not really even thinking about that aspect of it. In my previous episode, or maybe even before that, the one before that, when I was speculating how Endeavor was going to fight Shigaraki, I was like, well, as long as Endeavor stays in the air somehow, it should be okay. But I didn't even think of the fact that Shigaraki could just like pick up debris, start decaying them, and then like throw them or some shit. And if any one of those even like so much as like grazes you, you're dead. You're dead. So, you know, that is even like more OP than I thought it was, and I knew it was insanely OP. So it just put it into a new perspective how strong Shigaraki is. But there might actually be hope now that Aizawa's on the scene. You saw him come in. He was all pissed. He was like, yo, I have no right to be alive right now. Like, Crust saved my life. Like, so many people have saved my life. Like, what am I alive for? I'm alive to take this fucking bastard Shigaraki down. That's what I'm here for. That's what my power is for. Don't you dare lay a hand on my UA students, because Aizawa put it together. He was like, why are Deku and Bakugo here? Is Shigaraki after them? Is Shigaraki after them? So Aizawa was mad as hell, bro. He was like, yo, you're not touching my students. You're funny if you think you're laying a hand on them, bro. But I'm seeing death flags for Aizawa. I'm seeing death flags for him. He's talking too much about what his life's for and why he's still alive. And he's just too vital to this battle against Shigaraki right now. He's dying. I'm sorry. I see him getting killed. It's been a long time coming. He honestly should have died in that first encounter with Shigaraki. But honestly, if he dies managing to take down Shigaraki somehow, I think that's going to be a fitting ending for him, considering, you know, he almost died the first time Shigaraki was introduced. Like, he should have died when Shigaraki was first introduced. Aizawa shouldn't even really be here right now. But the fact that he is, maybe he's going to go out by taking down Shigaraki when he's in, like, his ultimate form, even if he's only at 75% when he should have been at 100. But still, I can see that happening. I don't want it to happen. I'm not saying I want Aizawa to die. I don't want Aizawa to die. I'm just saying I think it's very likely. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of death flags for him, which is kind of unfortunate. I could also kind of see Gran Torino dying because he's had a lot of action lately. He's been a big part. He's getting up in years, you know. He's even older than fucking All Might, and All Might's like 70, right? So freaking Gran Torino's like 90. So I can see him maybe catching the bullet too. But at the same time, he might just try and maybe he won't be involved in the fight because he's running away with Bakugo and Deku. Who knows? But back to Aizawa versus Shigaraki. That's an interesting thing because, you know, Aizawa can nullify quirks, but does that mean it's going to nullify all of Shigaraki's quirks? Because it's not just decay, it's all for one. And I don't know if all for one counts as its own quirk, and then every single quirk that you acquired with all for one is like another individual quirk, or if they're all under the umbrella of all for one. So I'm really not sure. And I'm not sure how Aizawa's quirk is going to work against him, because is it just going to negate one of those quirks? Is it just going to negate decay, but not all for one? Or is it going to negate all of them? And like I said, I think it's also important to think about if all of these quirks are under the umbrella of all for one, like they're categorized as all for one and just further abilities of all for one, or if like all for one is a specific quirk and now each other quirk is another specific quirk. You know what I mean? So I'm saying like Shigaraki has search through all for one, right? So if you disable all for one, does that also disable search? Or does that just disable all for one and not search? You know what I mean? And then also, can Aizawa disable multiple quirks or only one at a time? I think that's going to be a big factor. But yeah, the heroes are not out of this. I think if Aizawa manages to negate not even all of his quirks, but the majority of Shigaraki's quirks, you know, there's a couple other heroes there as well. I think they could at least restrain him, at least maybe hold him there for a while, you know what I mean? I don't think Shigaraki is going to manage to go anywhere anytime soon. Now, whether all those heroes can take him down, that's another thing. And Aizawa is very, very integral to this thing working, right? But another thing you have to think about is, way back in the lab before Shigaraki even woke up, when Aizawa was using his negating on that female Nomu, she was still able to jump the hell out of there because her physical body, her physical prowess was just that good. And I'm wondering if Shigaraki is something similar. Like, he was in that tank for like 3 months. Because you think that, you know, he was supposed to be in there for like 4 months. He's only 75% done, so he's been in there for like 3 months. You know, Shigaraki's been in that fucking tank for 3 months. Who knows? I doubt it's just the quirks that has been done to his body. Like, his body might be on the level of like a high-end Nomu or higher. So even with Aizawa there, it might not mean shit if he can just get the fuck out of there and Aizawa can't see him anymore. So that'll be interesting. And you got to remember, Gigantomachia is on his way. Shigaraki called him up a couple chapters ago and he was like, yo, Makia, get your ass over here, bring the rest of the squad. Shit is going down. It's time. We're fucking with these heroes. We're taking down society. We're killing All Might, bro. So you can't forget that. And eventually it has to jump back to the other battlefield with all those other heroes and Hawks and Fat Gun and, you know, Kirishima and all those guys and Dabi and not Twice. That was Rip Twice. And Toga and whatever the magician guy. So I think it's either going to jump back to that battlefield at some point, or Gigantomachia is going to show up with a bunch of the main heads from the league, or the Paranormal Front, or whatever the fuck they're called now, and then it'll have like a flashback of what happened at the other battlefield. But, you know, you gotta remember, bro, like, Shigaraki is not in this alone. But even if he fucking was, Shigaraki is a beast. He's a monster. He's like Godzilla right now. Like, nah. Like, oh my. It's like, I don't even know. It's like Whitebeard. Shigaraki's like Whitebeard right now. Shigaraki's like Whitebeard right now. Like, even if the heroes were Admiral level, which really basically just like Endeavor is, like, you ain't touching him. You ain't touching him. Like, it's over. But I mean, there is a glimmer of hope. If all those heroes and Aizawa can manage to restrain Shigaraki, maybe they can do something. But, you know, Shigaraki has to die. He's too strong. Something has to happen. It's not enough to just incapacitate him at this point. Shigaraki's too OP. He's too OP. So, unless he dies, society won't be able to really go back to normal life. Like, the UA students won't really be able to go back to normal until Shigaraki is permanently out of the picture, because the power he's amassed, even outside of just him as an individual, like the whole army, the villain army, like, unless a lot of those people are killed, specifically Shigaraki is killed, unless like almost all of them are captured, like, we're not going to be getting no going around looking at the UA students' rooms. Like, we're not getting arcs like that anytime soon, unless there are some big deaths, unless there are some big captures. So that's going to be interesting as well. I don't know. And we can't forget about All For One. Like, All For One is not out of the fucking picture. I keep on bringing him up every episode, every episode I make, but All For One is an integral part of this story. And remember, we saw him smiling that one chapter, at the end of that one chapter, when the doctor was like, yo, the dream is still alive. Now, who can say whether that smile meant anything more than just All For One being a fucking narcissistic bastard? But I mean, you know, it might. All For One might got that prison break plan. That prison break plan. Oh shit, I just moved the tripod. Hopefully the image is still pretty stable. But that also got me thinking about something. I don't know if this has been talked about before, if there's like some explanation. But oh wait. I was gonna say wait, because in Tartarus, where All For One is, you can't really use your quirks, because the second they sense like your brainwaves thinking about using quirks, they'll like aim fucking 20 machine guns at you and pump you full of bullets. But I thought, because several times All Might has gone to visit All For One in prison, but isn't All For One, like, his face is all fucked up? So how could he even see All For One or know he's there or hear him? Maybe his hearing is still good, but his sight, I feel like he could see him too. Maybe I'm wrong. But like, I feel like All For One is definitely not as confined as society thinks he is. But again, that could just be part of his character, making us think that he can do more than he can, because that's just who he is at the end. But I mean, it's all For One. Who fucking knows? He's been alive for fucking centuries at this point, probably. Amassing armies, amassing quirks, making plots, learning and growing. I don't know. I really don't fucking know. And you know, it's really great to put it into perspective. Like, even though, jumping back to Deku, even though Deku can do full cowling 30%, Gran Torino said it straight up, you're no match for him. You're no match for him. You're an ant. You're an ant. You're no match. If Endeavor is an ant, you're like a fucking larva. But yeah. So I'm really interested to see where this arc is going to go. And even beyond this arc, like thinking ahead. Assuming there are a bunch of character deaths, big deaths, assuming there are a bunch of hits taken on the villain side, which we already know Twice is a big hit, that Twice is dead. Assuming there are some more hits like that and some things get back to normal, or even if they don't get back to normal, let's say for instance, the fucking villains take over Japan and everybody has to flee to the US, and then we get like the US hero side of things. Which some other people talk about too, but that's also just kind of like a popular thing that people speculate might happen, because that's the cool thing. Like, we know All Might studied in America, but we never really see foreign heroes. We never see hero society outside of Japan, so that'd be a cool aspect to explore. And some people think that there might be time skips coming or something along that, or a rebranding of the series. But like, I'm really interested to see, like, once all this is over, no matter how it ends, where will we go from here? You know, like I'm just really excited to see that, especially because like the main cast is so OP now. Like Deku at 30%, like that's actually crazy. Like 30%, that's crazy. And you know, I guess it's a good time as any to mention this, but I don't really think Deku's full Caling takes full advantage of the power of All Might, because I could be getting this wrong, but when Deku used full Caling 100% against Overhaul, I don't think that was like the full 100% power that Deku thought it was, because there was like this thing where All Might told him one time, or he figured it out, that All Might does not move at 100% of his power, because that would just be like, that would cause like mass destruction in his wave due to like the air or whatever. And I don't really think we saw anything like that happening when Deku went 100% and was moving around with Overhaul. I could be misremembering, but I don't think anything like that happened. And we also see when Deku uses full Caling, like the electricity coming out from his body. And that's been said, like, it's been said that electricity is like one for all, overflowing out from his body. So that means he can't contain all of it. So I think full Caling, at least in its current form, does not take full advantage, does not fully capture the full power of All for One, at least the base power boosting aspect of it, or One for All rather. I always get those two mixed up. So even if Deku is at full Caling 30%, right? Personally, I could be totally wrong, could be totally off base, but personally, I do not think that means on a power level that he's a third of the way to his max. Because I think that where he is, like his technique currently doesn't take full advantage of what, like the power, you know what I mean? But that's getting a little off base. We're just talking about Deku. And then jumping back to Deku and Bakugo, you know, it was fun seeing some banter between those two. Like I said, we haven't gotten anything lighthearted like that in a little bit. It's been pretty much serious stuff with like deaths and gruesome injuries and a lot of fucking character shit like Shigaraki waking up, and like the whole raid on the villains. And there was actually this really funny line that Deku and Bakugo were like bantering or some shit. And Bakugo was like, yo, who you think you are? You think you're the main character or something? I was just cracking up. I was like, yo, Bakugo, he is the main character. Oh my gosh, that shit was funny. But yeah, so the next chapter is this chapter, so much fucking happened. Like, Endeavor is getting more and more like, he realizes now that Shigaraki is after Deku. You know, we got to see more progression between Bakugo and Deku, and we also find more about where Deku is at in terms of his control, at least with the base power aspect. And then at the end, you know, Deku and Bakugo are not going to be engaging with Shigaraki unless something changes. Instead, it's going to be a bunch of the pro heroes, mainly Aizawa. Oh my god, I hope that guy doesn't die, but I'm telling you, I think it's gonna happen, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I'm just so pumped up for this next chapter. I hope it's still focusing on the battlefield we're at. I hope it doesn't jump back to the other battlefield, because that would be like a kick in the balls. Like, yo, we finally got this hype ass moment with the heroes and Aizawa joining up, ganging up on Shigaraki, and now you're gonna jump back to the other battlefield. Like, they're both super hype, but like, I just want to continue one or the other. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to keep jumping back and forth. But yeah, the next chapter, let's see, I'm gonna predict it's going to be still the heroes versus Shigaraki, and I think it's actually going to be, instead of Shigaraki just brushing them off, I think it's actually going to be like them managing to pin him down at least somewhat. And I also want to see what other heroes are on the scene, because I think we only saw like the Dragon Girl, like Ryu something, I don't remember her name, and also Aizawa. I want to see what other heroes are there besides them two. And like I said, I don't think Endeavor is going to be showing up there due to the immense blast that Shigaraki used to get there, the air blast. I don't know if it did damage to the behind him, but I'm assuming it did, because that would only make sense. So Endeavor likely got knocked the hell back. But yeah, next chapter, I'm thinking that it's going to be the heroes versus Shigaraki, and it's going to be hype as hell. Another thing, the art was fucking on point. The art has been, Horikoshi has been killing it with the art lately. Like, I don't know what that man's on, but he's just been grinding that art out. Yeah, like specifically that double spread with Shigaraki disintegrating the hell out of Bakugo and Deku, and then Aizawa's page at the end, and then Bakugo's face when he was getting all mad. Oh my gosh, the art is on point. But, so yeah, that was all I wanted to talk about. That was My Hero chapter 275, right? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Drop a like on this video if you liked anything that I had to say. And consider subscribing if you want to see my content in the future. I do a lot of anime and manga content, but I also do the occasional video game stuff. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.